Hey Vikings, here is a video telling you or teaching you how to do the Rome's sea-based trade assignment. So our objective for today, I will be able to understand Rome's sea-based trade by reading the text, analyzing maps, and answering questions. For this, we are going to read the text and analyze the maps below, then we will answer our questions. Make sure, because you are middle schoolers, to use your own words so you are not plagiarizing, you are not going to copy and paste, and as always, you will answer in complete sentences. So anytime we have a text to read and then questions to answer, what are we going to do first? That is right, we're going to read the questions first. So let's do some pre-reading. Number 1, analyze the map on page 1. Rome is all of the land that is colored pink. Why is it good for Rome to have control of all of the land surrounding the Mediterranean Sea? Number 2, what is a sea route? Number 3, what makes a good sea route? And number 4, what is a port? So that's all on page 1. Now on page 2, we can see it says analyze the map on page 2. What differences are there between the ports marked with purple dots and yellow dots? Why would the ports marked with purple dots be used more than those marked with yellow dots? Now we don't know that yet, so we're definitely going to have to read the text and look at the maps. But remember, we're still pre-reading the questions. Number 6, name 3 items that were traded across the Mediterranean Sea. Number 7, what is the difference between an import and an export? Number 8, explain 3 reasons people would travel and trade across the Mediterranean Sea. So now that we have this background, we know what we're looking for. Now we get to read the text. We're going to skip over the map for just a moment, and we're going to read the text first. Last week, we learned that Rome took over land around the Mediterranean Sea. There was a lot of trade happening across civilizations. Due to Rome having so many farmers and so much food to trade, this helped them further expand. It also allowed them to dominate the Mediterranean Sea after they expanded. Sea routes. Sea routes are bodies of water that connect to seas. Oh, wait a minute. That's one of our questions. So, since I pre-read the questions, I can pause right now and I can give the definition of a sea route. Now, I'm not going to type it in, but you have it in the text, okay? Remember, you are going to paraphrase and put it into your own words as the directions said. What is a sea route? Okay, pause the video. No, seriously, pause the video and then write your answer. Okay, welcome back. Sea routes are bodies of water that connect to seas. They were usually rivers that ships could travel on. In ancient times, some of the best sea routes were rivers that led to the Mediterranean Sea. As trade grew, civilizations figured out which rivers were best to travel on. This means that some bodies of water were not good enough to be sea routes. Rivers needed to be big enough to carry a ship that could travel on the sea. And then we've got ports. Ports are places where ships would load or unload their trades. Hey, that's another question. So pause and type your answer. Welcome back. Ports are places where ships would load or unload their trades. Someone traveling to a port would unload their goods and load new goods onto the ship. They would then head back to their home port and unload their new items. Some ports were used more than others. On the map below, the ports marked with a purple dot were used more than the ports marked with a yellow dot. So we've got this map and we can see the purple dots in Gads, New Carthage, in Carthage, Syracuse, Athens, I think that's Tyre, Alexandria, and Rome and Massilia, right? So those are our purple ports, our ports marked with purple dots. And then we have ports marked with yellow dots, and those don't have names. But wait a minute, is this right here in the middle considered a port? I don't know, let's go back to our definition. Ports are places where ships would load or unload their trade. So are these yellow dots ports? No, they're not. For it to be a port, it has to be on the water. So this would be a port. That could be a port. That's a port. That's a port. There, there. Anything that's on the water, right? Up here in France, all of those are ports. So I'm looking at the legend, and it says that if it's marked with a purple or a yellow dot, that it was a settlement, right? So I go back to the text, and it says on the map below, the ports marked with a purple dot were used more than the ports marked with a yellow dot. Isn't that one of our questions? Why? Oh yeah. What differences are there between the ports marked with purple dots and yellow dots? And then why would the ports marked with purple dots be used more than those marked with yellow dots? I'm going to tell you right now, it's not because they were inland, because remember, those aren't ports. The question is asking, why is this port in Rome, this port right there, used more often than this port was? Okay. Okay. And then we keep reading, imports and exports. Imports are goods brought into a civilization. Exports are goods taken out of a civilization. For example, Rome trades grapes to the Middle East, and they receive spices in return. In this example, the grapes are an export because they are leaving Rome, and the spices are an import because they are coming into Rome. Okay? Exports are leaving, imports are coming in. And then we've got reasons to trade across the sea. There were many good reasons to travel the Mediterranean Sea to trade. Those from long distances could travel much easier. This meant that Rome would trade with those far away much easier. It was also faster to travel by ship than on land. Also, travelers could carry a lot more with them at a time when they traveled over water. They could fill their ships and carry much more than they could on land. Rome traded in many parts of the world. They made a lot of trades in Spain, France, the Middle East, and North Africa. Okay, so we have read the text, we have analyzed the second map. Now let's go back up to the first map. So I'm looking at the legends, and I've got a bunch of different colors here, right? Okay, so the red is Rome and their vassals. So Rome and their other people use those red traits, or that's the extent of their border. Okay, remember the text said, the question said, Rome is all of the land that is colored pink. So all of this pink area up in here, down here, all the way around here is all Rome. Even though the city of Rome is just right there, all of this pink land is Rome. The blue lines are the Germanic tribes. So over here we have Germanic tribes. The green is Samartia. Over here is Parthia. You can see it over, yes, we got it, yes, okay, cool. Let me zoom in just a second. You can see the different things that were imported and exported, right? The orange, sorry, before we get there, the orange is the internal trade route, so from somewhere in the Roman Empire to somewhere in the Roman Empire. And then the blue is external trade routes. So from inside the Roman Empire, crossing that border outside of the Roman Empire. Yes, we see that? So we've got this, which starts in the Roman Empire in Alexandria, and then is traded down through Egypt, down into Africa. Same down here. This is traded east to India. Yes, we get it? Okay. And then you can see all the different kinds of things that were traded. You have lumber, I'm sorry, that's oak. You have oak and tin and pigs and grapes and glass and lead and cows and gold and enslaved people and salt. Y'all, wars were fought over salt. This was not some little thing that we take for granted now, but thousands of years ago, it was extremely important. It literally saved people's lives. And Rome's biggest export was olives. We also got entertainment centers. Gladiators the human beings were traded across these routes. So that's, there we go. That's that question, number 6. This right here, this body of water is the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, it's not marked on the map, but this body of water here is the Mediterranean Sea. Questions, comments, concerns? Please email your teachers. Have a great day and go Vikings.